welcome. Welcome to the hottest stage of the exhibition. I hope you're here for the warmth, but also for what we have to say. Yeah, I'm very excited to be here. I think it's probably the last time you see us on a small stage, because H Company is the world leader. It's, I think, the first time we have a world leader in Europe for AI. And I'm going to tell you a bit the story of the company. I'm going to show you a quick demo. I think we are the only ones on Adopt AI to do a live demo, so maybe it's going to fail. We have Hugo right here, who is on the computer, but to show you our product, which is pretty fresh. Maybe you can go to the next slide, which is my responsibility. H Company, we are 80 people, 80 talents from some of the world most renewed company. We raised $220 million last year, which is a record in Europe. Hadn't happened before. Why? We raised because we are building the next generation of agents, what we call the third generation of AI, but maybe a little bit of a story. So I come from Palantir. I spent 10 years at Palantir, so I deployed the intelligence services in Europe, especially during the attacks of 2015. I was more recently in the US, deploying big corporates in the US, North America, and Canada. And Palantir is a very powerful technology. For those who don't know, it's like the 20th biggest company in the world now. So it's bigger than LVMH or Boeing and Airbus combined. So it's very successful, but there was a limit to what we could do with these agents. The limit is that we needed, as traditional AI agents, to plug to the existing systems of companies. So what does it mean? You need to plug with APIs, sometimes with MCP, plug to data. So you still have the benefits of AI, but you need to do all that IT manual work of plugging. So it had some good results, but we were limited. Especially when, as you know, in big companies, you have a stack of IT that dates from like the 80s, the 19s, the 2000s, and APIs are very limited and sometimes non-existent, and sometimes you need to interact with external systems that you don't control. And so when I saw that Laurent Siffre, my co-founder who spent 10 years at Google DeepMind, had cracked the problem, so he built these models that understand computers like humans. So the models are going to click, are going to scroll, are going to type. So you don't need to do any plugging anymore, any connection. Forget about APIs, forget MCPs, forget plugging to data, forget data lakes, forget the era of like migration to modern software that takes forever and that are very expensive. Because we have these models and we are starting to deploy them in big companies that can automate without any preparation. So it's very quick to deploy. It's very simple to deploy. We have, and that's what I took from Palantir, the forward deploying model. Ingénieur déployé, as our friends from Quebec are saying. So these people are going to the site of the customer. Not only they are responsible for the technology, but my experience is that technology is just 20% of the success of the AI deployment. The rest is what? The rest is adoption, is humans, is how do you create real value with these agents. And that's what FDEs are doing. So they're responsible for these three parts. And so the models of H, I'm going to show you a demo how they work in practice, but the models that we have are not only the best in the world, according to academic benchmark, which is great, but it's not enough. Our product is able to deploy these agents very quickly at customers, and we have forward deployed engineers that are top talents coming from like the biggest companies like Palantir, McKinsey, to deploy at customers. You can see the three pillars of H. So Frontier AI, product, and forward deployed engineers. Just to give you a quick, like, where do we come from? Over the past 40 years, every company, AI was like, just the last development. We built a lot of technologies before, software, mobile, data, and for all these new technologies, you had a new user interface. And these user interfaces started to pile on the desktop of all the users in the company. So, for instance, when I deployed Airbus, they had 1,000 systems, and people had to go from one to another. Obviously, they were not designed to work between another, and people were spending 70% of their day going from email to CRM to ERP, going back to ERP, going to Excel to merge things, come back. So, like, that's what the workforce, your workforce, is doing today. Salespeople, doctors in emergency room, and what we do is we end up having all these human interfaces, and what we do at H is we link these human interfaces with AI models and humans. So that's the journey that we take our AI models to driving real-world outcomes. How do we do it? So first of all, we have models that, as I said, are the what we call SOTA, which means like the best in the world in academic benchmarks. They are 100 times cheaper than the models that you know from the US, like ChatGPT or Anthropic. Why? Because they are specialized in computer use. So they're very good at doing that. 100 times cheaper also means 100 times less emissions, CO2 emissions, which is also important. And we are releasing a new version every 2 to 3 months. Right now, if we can switch to Hugo's computer, and let's see if our demo is working. Let's see if the Wi-Fi is good enough. But we wanted to show you a real demo because we are building a real product. So here you have an interface that is used by our main customers. Big shout out, I see a couple of people in the room. Our first customer we announced last week at Choose France from Française des Jeux United, FDJ United. So thank you for your trust. We have a lot of other customers that we're going to announce soon, but they are the first one that we announced publicly. So back to the demo. We have a product. You can put any model that you want. We recommend our Holo models because they are, as I said, 100 times cheaper and very specialized in computer use, but you can add other models. And what do you do with these models? You create agents. So here we have a couple of agents. One is a price scrapper, one is a CRM integrator. So there are agents that are able to do things specifically on a part of the workflow. And then you have what we call the workflow. So here you can see they are much high level. You have a sales workflow, marketing, customer support, and maybe Hugo, if you can look at the procurement workflow, for instance. So here you have a procurement workflow. It's running weekly, but we could run it every minute if we wanted. And you can see the runs here. Maybe you can look at the last run. So you can always replay the last runs of the agents. So here you can see all the agents working together. So the first step is extracting from an ERP, extracting all the products that you need to buy. So it's usually a bit faster because Wi-Fi is better, but there you go. So as you can see, the agent, like Hugo, is not touching the mouse right now. The agent is clicking. It's going to open the ERP. So maybe it has never seen the ERP before. Maybe it's something completely new. Maybe you just changed your ERP yesterday. Maybe it's a very old ERP. Maybe you bought a new company in Spain and they use a different ERP. No problem, because the agent is doing like a human, is just clicking and scrolling and just like using the front end of the interface. So it's gonna right now extract all the products that you need to buy. So we're gonna see probably a list of products coming, and then the next step, there you go. The next step is to look everywhere to find the cheapest prices. So you can look online, you can look in your past invoices to see whether maybe you have someone who found a smart way to buy it cheaper. So Hugo is showing you right now a run of an agent. So that's running on a website. So it's like looking the agent that is just scrolling, going to the search bar, entering it, and capturing the price, the terms and conditions, etc. Another popular website. So like you get the point, right? Like so right now, if you wanted to do that with a traditional agent, you couldn't, because there is no way to plug to these websites. You couldn't also if your ERP is old enough that it doesn't have enough good APIs, or you could maybe, but it would take a long time of data integration and process integration and plugging to your system. That takes like 5 minutes to build. So we can, as we build that, we can build 200 a day, while a traditional company will still be working on automating one workflow for maybe a couple of months. So what do we do after? Maybe if we have a bit more time. So basically, it's a basic workflow we are showing you. We didn't want to show you too much of a complex workflow. Sometimes they are very complex, but here's just going to aggregate the best prices. We have a human validation phase. So just making sure that if you buy sensitive products, these are the right products, you're happy to buy them from the website. Maybe you're going to give some feedback to the model saying, I think these products are great, but I don't want to buy it from, let's say, a website from Asia. So like the model is going to learn it, and the next time it's not going to repeat the proposition. And then what do you do? It's not just an Excel spreadsheet that you get with best prices. You put them back in your system where they live and where they're going to be useful for you. So right now, what you see is we are back to the ERP, and then we are updating the prices, the place where you find it, the links, and obviously the agent can buy it, whether it's like sending an email to a supplier, going to a specific portal, or just going online and buying it. And obviously, usually our customer asks for human validation at first to do that. So that's the last phase. And if we come back to the workflow, what we can see, and then you have the run complete, and you can come back. So was to give you a quick example of how you can use the platform. So you've seen our models. I can see Laurent at the back with the yellow jacket, who is the guy behind the models, and Caroline next to him, who is behind the product. Also, she was from Palantir, and Laurent was from DeepMind. And then the last thing that we do is we deploy them at customer. And the mostly big companies, also a couple of scale-ups. But maybe we can come back to the presentation. The last phase is that we know that having the best models, having the cheapest and the more frugal models, having the best product is not enough. Why? Because organizations are complex. People don't necessarily want to change their life from one day to another, and sometimes it fails. Sometimes the model is not going to understand something. So what we do is we deploy forward deployed engineers. So Luciana at the back is a forward deployed engineer. She's saying hi right now, to make sure that it's working technically. 20% of the value is the technical value, and we know from our experience for 10 years deploying in big companies that 80% of the value is going to try to make sure sit next to a user, making sure that it's working well, catching the small issues that are existing in the model, and having the research team improve it in a couple of hours and come back. So like, iteration is the way we deploy, because what we want at the end of the day is not a nice technology that's working well. What we want is return on investment for our customers. That's the only thing that we are looking at. So that's the reason why these forward deployed engineers are not only trained technically, but they're also very good at business, and they're very experienced at deploying in large organizations or even governments where everything is complex. You have unions, you have middle management, you have people that are not necessarily keen to have the way they work changing. And that's where we master our art, because we know how to make sure that these people are very happy with using it. So we focus on making employers happy with ROI, but we know that we need to make employees happy so that they use it. That was basically what I wanted to tell you about H. We started 1 year ago. We have 1 year of research behind us, and we have a couple of months of deployment. We need to go fast. I think having a French company that is world leader in what it does in the next generation of AI is really unique. So we are opening offices worldwide. We opened offices in the US, in Canada, in the Gulf countries, in Europe, India, South Korea. So that's the plan for the next coming month. If you're interested in a demo specifically to your company, if you're interested in joining the adventure of H, we are there. 3 people at the back standing, Hugo sitting on the floor right here. And thank you very much for your attention.